as I was saying, so alchemy. I'm not gonna go there. Anyway, why do I like to practice alchemy and teaching it? And what does that mean in like real life shit? Like, how does that apply to anything, right? First of all, basically it's a transferring of energy from something that is not necessarily your favorite to something that is more desirable. That's kind of how I've always felt about it. This does not have to be practical in what a human would do. For example, if you hate your job and you quit and go next door and get another job, that's not necessarily alchemy. Unless, of course, you were in your hated job like, oh my God, this job is the worst. And the neighbor next door, no, freeze. This job is the worst. I deserve better. I'm calling better into my experience. If that's your step, if that's your process, and then the next door person comes over to you and says, hey, I have a job for you. Or if you're just happening to be outside and this person is there and you're feeling inspired to speak to them, that is way closer to alchemy than we're realizing or acknowledging. Let me give a better example. So for the moons, a lot of times when we're working together, we would write down things that we feel no longer serve us, like that we're not worthy of a job that we want, or worthy of a healthy condition in our body, or experience, or a healing, or a shift, or a relationship, or soothing in a relationship, or whatever it is that, like, I mean, pretty much each moon you could probably think of something that you could do a little bit less of and have a little bit more of. And that's kind of what I like to practice, as it's my way of constantly tuning and shaping my experience. So what does that mean? So a couple of moons ago, I needed to work on forgiveness. I was with friends and we did a burning thing where we put things in the fire, whether it was herbs or written notes. Some people had different things. I put my whole dress in there. And it was just my way of symbolizing that I was forgiving myself for like this whole chunk of time. Mine was connected to basically every moment that I've been existing from having a period till my last period, which was just like a month ago. I mean, not a month ago. Though it had been a month ago. I'm officially a menopausal person. What's today? For like 23 days. Yay! So, but, okay, I'm getting a little sidetracked. So, the act of setting the intention to release the shame, guilt, regret, etc. from not only myself, but everybody involved. Everybody that once upon a time I felt, well, if you're mean to me, you're bad, you know? I don't want to get lost in that spot. But in my head, I was ready to forgive all that. What you do with your alchemy and your decisions and your wishes is your own business. It applies the same. I'm just trying to talk directly from my experience so that I can make it make sense to you. Another way of alchemy with natural weight loss, which is one of my... It's one of the things that I've always wanted to teach without the premise of teaching it from, here's how we're going to lose weight. Because I don't really feel like that. But I do understand that a lot of times that feels like the forefront in other people's intention and desire when they're talking to me. So I'm trying to restructure the way that I teach it to make it more accessible. So it's like, because before I'm like, well, you don't want to talk about woo-woo. I'm not telling you. And that wasn't really what it was, but it just meant so much more to me than weight loss. It meant freedom and accepting myself and allowing wellness in my body through my stream of consciousness, through my creation, through my intuition, through the reason that I came here to be a human in the first place. Before a few years ago. I kind of was a person that thought, first of all, I never was raised in religion, so I didn't really have God. I kind of believe God, universe, energy shit, but it was more of a thing that just kind of made sense, like, because I was more science-based than religion. Shut up. So, while I was sort of jealous that people had God wasn't like a thing I had, you know? I also was very detached from my human experience and my own self-empowerment. So the idea that humans are like God in body form was way beyond my scope of, I'm not going to buy that. You know what I mean? Because I was like, if I was going to be God, this is not what I would be doing. However, therein lies the exact contradiction, which is like always my favorite thing. I don't know if anybody's paying attention, but everything that I say it both ways. I hate it, I love it, and it's all great. None of it is right or wrong. So, of course, okay, all right, let's back up one more time. So, alchemy is the process of taking something less desirable and helping it shift to a more desirable outcome, feeling, or result. There are many ways to do that, and this is where it comes to a personal thing for you. For some people, alchemy is writing something down and throwing it in the fire. For other people, alchemy is singing or dancing or yoga, while their mind is practicing a mantra or affirmation to will the new desired effect or experience with the mind-body connection of being in alignment, like with yoga or dance, swimming, making love. Those times you're paying attention when you're doing those sort of things. Like if you're a sports player and you're up to bat, you're probably paying attention. If you're a drummer and you're drumming, you're probably paying attention. If you're doing something that you're paying attention to that gives you joy and passion and makes you feel alive, like this is why I was born, that is your alignment. Plain and simple. And yes, just like everything, it has layers and levels. Baseline, hope and happy, baseline, okay. Not necessarily alignment, but at a good spot. That's a lot of times where people would encourage meditation. Why meditation? Because it's an easy way to raise your frequency. Meditation, let's also take 1 minute there. Great space for alchemy. Doesn't have to be sitting still. Doesn't have to be being quiet. Meditation can come in the form of running, walking, singing, dancing, painting, yoga, cooking, anything where you're feeling like plant medicine. For me, when I smoke in the morning, I feel like my brain, I can feel a blanket. I don't get like, let me have Twinkies and TV. My mind gets like the corners clear and things come in. So that to me, like, I feel like my favorite space of alignment is in my intuitive mind. When my intuitive mind and my thinking mind are blended, it's my favorite space for alignment. And because I am such a greedy girl, I can do it in so many different places. I do love it for yoga because I feel like it gives me a way to physically play, burn off energy, keep my frustration levels at bay. And it's been a personal practice, much like to what I would imagine it was like to be raised in religion. I went to yoga a very unhealthy... Hey, buddy, don't hit yourself, please. A very unwell person. And the first... I can't tell you how many times I got on the mat. I just would cry. Once we got onto the all fours and down dog, it wasn't because it was hard. I would just cry. And I didn't know what it was. And then it got funny after it was embarrassing. But that was my own alchemy, letting myself find my way back to my intuition. The woods was letting myself face my shadow work. And now that my ripple has left, my alchemy in this space is my ultimate allowing space, which is why I am alchemizing all the things that are in my space which could be detrimental to my joy right now. And I am exploiting that to make me happy. Because I'm a motherfucking witch like that. Some days that means I have my house looking especially clean. Right now you see the dishes. That pot's clean. That one's not. Some days it means doing as little as possible with maintaining that. Like yesterday was a magical window. My children's dad came a little later because he just got tied up. And then I didn't have a plan. I felt a little rushed, but I wanted to do something. I needed to do something for myself. It had been a few more days than I felt was feeling good. And I did not have a lot of options or a huge window. I kind of let my intuition pick in, and I've also been on a pizza break. Pizza is marijuana in Nancyland. And for me, that means I have to work harder to get to Rose. Not my favorite, but not impossible. So I started to do things to calm my mind, tidy up my space. Cleaning the house is an easy way for me to alchemize down regulating anxiety when I'm not angry at the house, obviously. Not everything works all the time. So, like, if you're sad and someone's like, well, go meditate, that won't fucking work. Take a nap if you're sad. You need to stop momentum, not soothe it. You need to stop it. You stop it. You go to, you know how you alchemize that? You say to self, I'm going to take a nap because I'm falling the fuck apart. And I know I'm going to get a respite from this momentum. I'm going to go to sleep. My intention is I'm going to go to sleep, get the rest, and you're going to wake me up when I got a better idea. Peace out! You know? That's motherfucking alchemy. A nap can be alchemy. Very much. What's not alchemy is busting through and forcing yourself, crying and snotting and dying and hating everything. And everything that you touch gets touched with that energy. Correct? Correct. That fake it till you make it just really isn't a real thing. It's just, you can't really fake energy. And no matter how much you love something or someone, if your vibration frequency alignment is off, whatever you're doing with that person is going to be off. Whatever you're doing with that event, project, craft, creation is going to be a little off. Off of what? Your highest joy, pleasure, or with your alignment. When you're in your soul body alignment, you are connected to your personal stream of God consciousness. That's a motherfucking superpower. Not all the beings that live in Earth, on Earth, in Earth, have this superpower. None of the humans that express his or her superpowers are more experienced than anyone else who doesn't express their own superpowers. They just aren't using it. It's just like, well, I don't like using my right hand. I'm a left-handed person. You can motherfucking do that all you want. You can pretend you're a one-armed bandit. You could chop your fucking arm off if you're in the winter. You probably would get in trouble, even though that's kind of fucked, but another story, another time. Okay, coming back. You can choose to use or not use any of your abilities or senses or gifts or your God if you want to. Or you can choose to do it. And one way to simply begin tapping into that is by finding or feeling your way through something that doesn't feel good and addressing it different than you've ever done it before. So if you're always getting set off and normally you'd scream and flip out, and a way to alchemize that would be first acknowledge, whoa, usually I flip out here. What would be a better solution? Okay, I would like to acknowledge that I don't like to have to feel like I'm going to flip out. So I'm going to let that land in my body. I want peace. I want ease. I want happy children. I want to be able to record for 15 minutes. I want 15 minutes for myself once a day. And then I can practice feeling that even if it's not here already. And how can I do that? By just staying in the highest feeling vibration as possible, despite all the things around trying to trigger my ego back into that repeated loop of reacting or default creation. You can kind of just, if you can, and that's, maybe you don't. Maybe the first 10 times you fucking keep flipping out. And then finally say, I read somewhere that someone said, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome, you're stupid. That's not nice, but I'm pretty sure that's the words. They do say stupid, right? I'm not trying to be mean when I say that, by the way, but I'm pretty sure the word said stupid. Stupid may also be a word that I was way too comfortable with addressing myself as. And we're working on that now for the mental health part of Nancy's journey. But to come back to alchemy, if there is something that you are finding today not making you happy, maybe say, well, how have I been responding to this? Because if you're unhappy for more than like a couple times in a row, then you're in a loop. If the same thing is happening more than 2 or 3 times, you're in a loop. You ain't getting out of that loop unless you break the wheel. You know? And you don't have to be like, I'm not tolerating this anymore! Abracadabra! No, you could just think to self, I know that I'm worthy of peace here. I know that I'm worthy of cooperation. I know that I'm worthy of the time that it takes to take care of myself. I'm allowing that into my body. And for me, it would be, how do I do that today? How do I stay in my truest alignment? How do I stay in love? That's what I like to say, in love vibration. Today's Thursday. Thursday is a day for appreciation. I like to have positive themes for each day to keep me in target, because sometimes real life happens, like you wake up watching a news or hearing a news article that is just fucking bullshit. But you don't want to walk around like that all day, because that would not be good creating. So you find a peaceful spot and you sit. Maybe you take a few breaths. And then you wait. Or you know what to do. If you already know what will make you feel better, that's probably your best bet. And sometimes that doesn't look right to other people. But sometimes the practiced route is the way to the healing route. Sometimes you got to go through the gate one more time and just turn left. What does that mean? For finding my way to sobriety, for example. It was many months that I considered wanting to take a break from alcohol and couldn't bring myself to admit that I wasn't able to take the break because it just felt too hard. Like the idea of remaining that sober for that many days in a row. And yes, I smoke pot, but pot does not make me feel high the way that I feel it is explained in sober, non-sober talk. I also would like to offer the fact that as a person who treats herself for many things with pot, the medicines that I have ever taken to do those things definitely never reap the benefits that I have from my own personal work with pizza, pot, marijuana, cannabis, all that shit. Having said that, I am on a break. I do not love it. But it's okay, you know? Because, and I couldn't have done this, so let me also back up. I could not have done the break before taking the break of alcohol. I wasn't able to find the peace that it has come in the about 200 days of not drinking. Yes, minus the one Wednesday when I tried to see if I could do it again. And now I don't feel regret. I am happy that I was happy and I decided to try it, and I immediately was reminded why it's just not a good chemical work for my body. Not to say that alcohol's bad. if it's something that you can use in yourself and it works, then I think it's fine. I think that anything can be fine if it's working to empower you, whether it's for one more moment or for your lifetime. There was a time when if I hadn't had a glass of wine to calm down at the end of the night, I don't know if I'd have had anything to look forward to. And that doesn't make me wrong. And it doesn't make me pathetic, and it doesn't make me a loser or maybe a little bit of an alcohol addiction, maybe a little bit of another kind of a codependency. I seem to do well with collecting those. But it didn't make me bad, and it doesn't make anybody bad. I believe with my whole heart that addiction, and I've done lots of different ones, comes from a place of wanting to feel that alignment, that wellness. And that's why we keep doing it, and until you can find that there is another way, you can't expect yourself to give up that nugget of wellness. And a lot of times it doesn't come in the form what it does for everybody else. So you kind of need a new way, And that's why I like to talk about alchemy. And I'm not saying if you're brand new to wanting to be sober, of course, if you're really fucked up like I was, trying anything could be okay. Minus like the DTs and dropping dead, because I guess some levels of alcohol toxicity, that can actually kill you. I wasn't there. I was just a very heavy binge drinker 2 to 5 times a week. Who's counting? I was never good at numbers. I'm going to go because these numbers are saying I got 8% and lots of minutes timed, and I'm going to go check my littles because they could tell that I was not loving what was happening, and they just got it together for me. How cool was that? We've only been doing this since March, so it's nice that sometimes it works. Bye, guys.